All of you, very good morning, students. Zoology second year. Today topic human respiratory system. The previous class discussed the types of the respiratory organs and introduction of the human respiratory system. So today topic human respiratory system. Human respiratory system. The human respiratory system consists of the respiratory tract. The human respiratory system consists of the respiratory tract and respiratory organ. The human respiratory organs are the lungs. So the respiratory tract and lungs. First one, respiratory tract. So they are start from the nose. The respiratory system is starting from the nose. So the nose opens into the nasal chamber. Nose opens into the nasal chamber. The nasal chamber opens into the pharynx. Nasal chamber opens into the pharynx. The pharynx is divided into three types: nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. So they are in the digestive system. Next one, a pharynx opens into the larynx. Pharynx opens into the larynx. Larynx opens into the trachea. Larynx opens into the trachea. Trachea opens into the bronchi. Trachea opens into the bronchi. That bronchi opens into the lungs. The bronchi opens into the lungs. Inner side of the lungs, they are presenting on the bronchi divided into primary bronchi. The primary bronchi divided into secondary bronchi. The secondary bronchi divided into tertiary bronchi. The tertiary bronchi further divided into primary bronchiole. Primary bronchiole. The primary bronchiole divided into secondary bronchiole. The secondary bronchiole divided into tertiary bronchiole. The tertiary bronchiole divided into terminal bronchiole. That terminal bronchiole divided into respiratory bronchiole. That respiratory bronchiole continue to the alveolar duct. That alveolar duct continue to the alveoli sac. That alveoli sac is the exchange of gases. So these are the flow chart of the human respiratory system. Human respiratory system. Structurally, the human respiratory system is divided into two types. Structurally, it is divided into two types. Structural is divided into two types. One is the external. External respiratory tract or system. Next, second one, internal. System is the structurally the human respiratory system is divided into two types. One is the external respiratory tract. External respiratory tract. Second one, internally respiratory tract. First one, external respiratory tract. External respiratory tract. The external respiratory tract it includes nose, nasal chamber, pharynx. The present only nose, nasal chamber, pharynx and larynx. They are presenting in the external respiratory tract. Next one, internal respiratory tract. They are presenting in the, it includes bronchi, bronchioles and lungs. That lungs presenting on the primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi. So they are all presenting on the internal respiratory tract. Internal respiratory tract, external respiratory tract. That external respiratory tract, nose, nasal chamber, pharynx and larynx. The internal respiratory tract presenting on the bronchi, bronchioles, lungs. They are presenting on the internal respiratory tract and external respiratory tract. Next one, functionally is divided into. They are the structurally divided into two types. Next one, functionally. functionally into two types, functionally divided into two types. First one, conducting zone. First one, conducting zone. Second one, respiratory zone. Conducting zone and respiratory zone. Conducting zone. That conducting zone is presenting in. Conducting zone is presenting on the nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, larynx and bronchi. Is presenting on the conducting zone. This conducting zone functioning is filtering of air and conditioning of air. Filtering of air and conditioning of the air. Next one, respiratory zone. Second one is the respiratory zone. That respiratory zone is presenting on the bronchioles, Next one, bronchioles. After bronchioles, terminal respiratory bronchioles, alveolar duct, and alveolar sac. So these are presenting in the respiratory zone. That respiratory zone is presenting on the bronchioles, respiratory bronchioles. Next one, alveolar duct and alveolar sac. So these are the functioning is they are the respiration. They are the transport of the gases. So, these are the respiration areas, the transport of the gases from the air and body, air and lungs, air and blood vessels. So, the air and blood, So, these are the external respiratory tract and internal respiratory tract. External respiratory tract presenting on the nose, nasal chamber and pharynx, larynx. The internal respiratory tract presenting on the bronchi, bronchioles and lungs. Lungs presenting on the primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, primary bronchiole, secondary bronchiole, tertiary bronchiole, respiratory bronchiole, terminal bronchioles, respiratory duct and alveolar duct and alveolar sac. They are presenting on the internal respiratory tract. So, they are the external respiratory tract, internal respiratory tract, they are the external respiratory tract. Next one, the functionally the respiratory system is divided into two types. One is the conducting zone, another one is the respiratory zone. Conducting zone and respiratory zone. First one, conducting zone. That conducting zone presenting on the nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, larynx and bronchia is presenting on the conducting zone. This conducting zone functioning is the filtering of the air, Next one, the condition of the air, the temperature, the condition of the air temperature. So, they are the conducting zone function. Next one, respiratory zone. That respiratory zone function the bronchiole, respiratory bronchioles and alveolar duct and alveolar sacs. They are presenting on the respiratory zone. This respiratory zone functioning is the transport of the air from the air gases, O2 transport from the air to blood. So, they are the conducting zone and respiratory zone. Next one, the human respiratory system. The human respiratory system, it consists of nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, and larynx, trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles and lungs. So they are presenting on the human respiratory system. The human respiratory system is consists of the nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles and lungs. Nose, nasal chamber, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles and lungs. So they are presenting on the human respiratory system. Next one, first heading nose. A pair of external nostrils. A pair of external nostrils present in above the upper lip. Next one, it is entering from the, it opens into nasal chamber. Nose. The human beings contain a pair of external nostrils. They are the external nostrils. A pair of external nostrils presenting on the above the upper lip. So they are opening from the nasal chamber. Once revised, the pair of external nostrils presenting on the above the nasal chamber, above the upper lip. These are open into the nasal chamber. Second heading, nasal chamber. The nasal chamber, they are presenting on the, above the palate. So the nasal chamber presenting on the above the palate. Next one, the nasal chambers. The two nasal chambers. The one external nostrils, one external. These two nasal chambers are separated from the nasal septum by nasal septum. Nasal chamber is separated by the nasal septum. Next one, the nasal chamber contains three regions. First one, respiratory zone, olfactory zone and filtering zone. The first one, second one, respiratory zone, third one, olfactory zone. Filtering part, respiratory part and olfactory part. Filtering part. So the filtering part, these are presenting on the air and sebaceous gland. Air and sebaceous glands. These functioning is the prevention of dust particles. prevention of dust particles. Prevention of dust particles. Next one, respiratory zone. Next one, respiratory zone. That respiratory zone is presenting on the, these are the conditioning of the air. Conditioning of the air means warming of the air or conditioning of the air. Conditioning of the air means you are intaking of the warm air. So they are the condition, certain temperature air only entering from the body. So they are the change of the air temperatures. So changing of the air temperatures. Next one is presenting on the three thin twisted bones. It is presenting on the three thin twisted bones is called the concave. It is presenting on the three thin twisted bones is called the concave. Three thin twisted bones are presenting on the concave. So they are the respiratory zone, respiratory part. Third one, olfactory part. So the olfactory part is presenting on the olfactory, covered by olfactory epithelium. Olfactory epithelium. These identify the smell. This functioning is the identification of smell. So these are the nasal chamber. Nasal chamber. The nasal chamber is presenting on the above the palate. Next one, the nasal chamber is divided into nasal septum. These are the nasal septum. Next one, the nasal chamber contains three regions, three zones. One is the filtering zone, and one respiratory zone. Third one, olfactory zone. First one, filtering zone. Filtering zone means these are the presenting on the hair and sebaceous gland. In the nose presenting on the hairs. So these hairs and sebaceous glands functioning is the filtering the dust particles. Because of dust particles does not entering from the air passage. The filter of the air dust particles. Prevention of the dust particles. Second one, respiratory zone. That respiratory zone the presenting on the three thin twisted bones. Three thin twisted bones is called the concave. So this functioning is the maintaining of the air temperature, conditioning of the air. Next one, third one is the olfactory zone. That olfactory zone presenting on the olfactory epithelium. This functioning is the identification of smell. Second, next one in the pharynx. Pharynx. The pharynx is divided into three regions. First one, nasopharynx. Second one, oropharynx. Third one, laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx, oropharynx and laryngopharynx. First one, nasopharynx. Second one, oropharynx. Third one, laryngopharynx. The nasopharynx is a superior part of the pharynx. The pharynx superior part is the nasopharynx. The next one, in the nasopharynx opens into the internal nostrils. And eustachian tubules. Opens into it. So the in nasopharynx is the nasopharynx region, the opening from the internal nostrils. The internal nostril opens into the nasopharynx. Next one, the eustachian tubules are also opens into the nasopharynx. Next one, the nasopharynx region presenting on the pharyngeal tonsils. The nasopharynx region presenting on the pharyngeal tonsils. Next one, oropharynx. The oropharynx is the middle region. So they are the intermediate. Is the intermediate region. The oropharynx is the intermediate region. Next one, oral cavity opens into the oropharynx. Oral cavity opens into oropharynx. Oral cavity. So these are the oral cavity. The oral cavity opens into the oropharynx. Next one, the oropharynx contain two types of the tonsils. One is the lingual tonsils and pharyngeal tonsils. And palatine tonsil. So the oropharynx presenting on the lingual tonsils and palatine tonsils. Next one, laryngopharynx. Next one, laryngopharynx. So laryngopharynx is the inferior part. These are the inferior part. Next one, the nasopharynx opens into the. So they are the nasopharynx. The nasopharynx, laryngopharynx. The laryngopharynx, they are the inferior part of the nasopharynx. Inferior part of the nasopharynx. These nasopharynx opens into the larynx. The nasopharynx opens into the larynx. Nasopharynx opens into the larynx. Next one, the laryngopharynx and oropharynx. Laryngopharynx and oropharynx is the food and air passages. Food and air passages. Like the pharynx is the common passage of the food and air. Like in the pharynx is divided into two types, three types: nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. The oropharynx and laryngopharynx. Oropharynx and laryngopharynx. These two, oropharynx and laryngopharynx, they common passages for the food and air. Common passage of the food and air. So they are the pharynx. The pharynx is divided into three regions: nasopharynx, oropharynx, laryngopharynx. Nasopharynx, they are presenting on the superior part of the pharynx. Superior part of the pharynx. It contains in this region opens into the eustachian tubules and internal nostrils. The nasopharynx is presenting on the tonsil. That tonsil is called the pharyngeal tonsil. Next one is the oropharynx. The oropharynx is the middle region. The oropharynx is the middle region. The oropharynx, the middle oropharynx, the oral cavity opens into the oropharynx. The oral cavity opens into the oropharynx. Next one, the oropharynx contains two tonsils. One is the palatine tonsil, another one is the lingual tonsils. Next one, laryngopharynx. That laryngopharynx is the inferior part of the pharynx. Inferior part of the pharynx. The oropharynx and laryngopharynx are the common passages for the food and air. So these are the pharynx. Next one, larynx and trachea and tracheoles and bronchi and bronchioles. They continue to the next class.